Hello there. In a show of the total contempt the Tories have for the rest of us, David Cameron is back from the political dead in the form of the dodgy Earl of Greensill. The Tory government just became even more mainstream uniparty establishment. The much vaunted cabinet reshuffle is supposed to reset the Tories' election chances, to give them a fighting chance of upsetting the shoe-in plans of Keir Starmer's Labour Party. Rishi Sunak has silenced the unstable right wing of his party, we're sagely told by the mainstream press. He's rightly cleared out the divisive Suella Braverman, the lefty's crow. What that means is they are pleased because they foresee more inclusivity and diversity from a reformed Tory party. Not importantly that they'd ever vote Tory, of course, something that Sunak may have overlooked when formulating his plans. Also not realising that it is the one-way push for inclusivity and diversity that is causing the division in the first place. And as I speculated on yesterday, Rishi's grand return of David Cameron plot was hatched a while back, before Braverman began to get rather direct with her messages. And I'm left wondering if Sunak was waiting to try and shoehorn Cameron into a safe seat, if there is such a thing for the Tories now, via one of those now constantly run by-elections as further Tory sleaze and misbehaviour is exposed. Until it became evident that that would be a non-starter, no Tory stands a chance in a by-election now. And with Braverman coming out with her strong words about the Met's two-tier policing and the like just before Remembrance Sunday, it looks like Sunak was forced into a corner. No time for a by-election. In fact, no chance of winning one. So the House of Lords it has to be. Hence we have yet another unelected Tory lordship trouser polishing the red benches of the House of Lords. And one point to note here is that all of Cameron's foreign policy pronouncements will be made from the dispatch box in the House of Lords, not in the Commons in front of MPs. Our elected MPs will not be able to directly question him on any of this. Now, do you remember the run-up to the 2016 EU referendum when David Cameron as Prime Minister grandly toured the capital cities of the European Union in an effort to get some movement, however small, on reforms that might cement the UK's membership of the EU, so win him the Remain vote he so desperately wanted? Well, he got diddly squat, because the huge assumption made across the whole bloc, including within the Cameron government, was that Remain would win anyway. As a result, Cameron got no reforms of any note from Brussels, and so lost the referendum. But there's another point. All the politicians and officials were so busy writing speeches and op-ed pieces hailing a great victory for Remain and the rejection of xenophobia, etc., that no one, including Cameron, bothered to put in train any planning should the outcome be for leaving. All that happened is that the whole UK and EU establishment went into shock, and in the UK it caused instant paralysis. At which point Cameron tossed the keys of number 10 into the ring and announced that he was off. So what on earth drove Rishi Sunak to send the gravediggers into the political crypt to revive Cameron? You really do have to ask whose idea this really was. And there are rumours that it was actually the brainchild of former Tory party leader William Hague, although he has denied it. I do like the idea of David Cameron coming back into government and was very enthusiastic about it. I knew about it a few days before and spoke to David Cameron to brief him about my views on foreign affairs and the Foreign Office. But it wasn't my idea, he told Times Radio. So has Cameron got a blockbuster plan of his own to boost our standing in the world, other than promoting inward migration, beefing up foreign aid maybe, and being nice to Biden and the Brussels overlords. And what a message this is to Sunak's 350 Tory MPs. None of them are considered heavyweight or experienced enough after the party has been in government for 13 years to carry the responsibility of being the UK Foreign Secretary. Anyway, after 7 years in the wilderness, Cameron found himself amongst the great and good around the cabinet table again this morning. And the cameras were allowed in to see how unified and perky they are in getting the job done for the UK. With the PM gushing that they were an energetic and enthusiastic team that is going to deliver for the country. Deliver what, exactly? More left-leaning wokery and net zero by the looks of it. Our purpose is nothing less than to make the long-term decisions that are going to change our country for the better, Sunak gushed on. How can you do that? By following the same old policies of importing even more conflict, getting all your plans overturned by activist civil servants and courts, while ignoring the growing concerns of the majority of the population, where things like crime, immigration, lack of housing, or should I say too many people, healthcare, tax, inflation, and the rest of it are concerned. All I smell in the air is a bunch of ministers ready to follow the WEF-inspired instructions that will impoverish the vast majority of us. Don't rock boats, keep the ship sailing in the direction of open borders and crippling net zero plans. And don't be fooled by those empty words from Sunak of easing the speed of getting to net zero. Because whether or not it takes a couple of years more, the destination is the same. If the Tories do somehow miraculously hold on to power, net zero is still the absolute goal. And if Labour gets its projected huge majority, then we'll see a doubling down to net zero and a faster destruction of our society. Especially as Keir Starmer has publicly declared he's rather fond of the way Davos and WEF conducts its business, i.e. bypassing democracy. And in the end, both of them will sign up to the WHO Health Emergency Treaty. Now a lot is being made of Suella Braverman talking the talk but not walking the walk where things like getting policing back on an even keel and stopping the boats is concerned. But you have to ask how much of that was down to the achingly woke and left-leaning civil serpents that she would have relied upon to get her policies acted on. And the total inability of successive prime ministers to get any semblance of control over the parts of the legislative process that are important to the people. The establishment's administration, the civil service, can quickly write as many pro-net zero plans, pro-foreign aid policies, policies for more visas, policies for more benefits, etc., etc., etc. But something that would control our borders, for example, is oh so hard and time-consuming and always somehow illegal. Now, a lot is always made about how the civil service should be totally unbiased, but there is one bias I expect all those who serve our country to have, and that is a love and dedication to the country that they purport to serve. And then have the ability and the drive to work in fulfilling the wishes of the people by backing the policies of our elected representatives. But the biggest responsibility by far is that of us, the electorate. We are the ones that place those politicians in post in the first place. And collectively we have not been making a good job of that so far, have we? As we lurch from red to blue and back again. Not helped by a partisan press machine that is always looking to back the woke and net zero agendas while dividing the nation at every opportunity.